image look infrared, we have to make the greens look like they're fluorescing, which would show up as white in an infrared photograph, and then the blue skies would go dark. And then everything else would kind of be similar in terms of the black. So we're just going to really be playing with the color mixing in this photograph. So what you first want to start by doing is always make a background copy, and then we're going to invert this copy. So you can click on the adjustment layer up here for invert, and you can see we're already kind of getting somewhere. The colors, the greens are looking a little bit more white, and then the sky is looking a little bit darker, but we have to kind of play with it. I'm going to change the blending mode on this adjustment layer to color at the very bottom. So now we're starting to see some of the whites kind of popping out. The colors are inverted in interesting ways. Oh, here, so if we hide the invert, you can kind of see what that's doing. Okay, now we're going to add an adjustment layer of a color mixer. So it kind of looks like the 3 different primary colors all mixed together. And for our different output channels here, I'm going to start with my red, and then I want to eliminate the reds from this channel and eliminate the greens, but I want to keep the blue at, let's see, so by eliminate I mean 0. Sorry, so go back, or you could just type in 0, it's probably faster. Okay, and then this one I want to be at 100. Okay, there we go. So now that's the red channel. Let's try blue next. So on the blue channel, we're going to make the red 100. And then we're going to make the green 0 and blue 0. So it's kind of the opposite of what we had before. Okay, so now it's kind of looking like cherry blossoms or something like this. All of these layers are kind of looking abstract. Really, there's no right or wrong with abstract photography. You can really play around with it. Under hue saturation, we're going to add a hue saturation layer. And instead of just like dragging this around, of course, making very abstract, looks, we're going to change the master to reds. So now it's just affecting the reds. You can see it selected here in our spectrum. You can kind of see what it's doing. I want there's blues in the sky, so I want to make sure that the blue, the hue is at +5. And then the saturation is at 30. Somewhere around there. You can kind of see what it's doing in the sky when I oversaturate it. Somewhere around 30. If you brought the lightness all the way down, there's really not much of a difference, so we'll just bring it down. Okay. And then now to make all of these layers on one, we're going to hit Command Option Shift E. Command Option Shift, and then E as an elephant. And then that's going to render all of those layers into one layer here. So I have layer 1. So if I put all these in a group, if I hit that group, you can see what's on layer 1. So there's the green, there's the pink. It's kind of the opposite of what we had in the original. And we played with the channels and the color levels and the lightness and darkness, that kind of thing. So now, if we made it black and white, we can see what we might do with bringing out the reds. So that would make it look more infrared in the greens. And then if we brought down the blues, that would give the sky more of an infrared look, because blue skies are supposed to be dark in infrared photographs. Okay, so now the last thing we need to do is add a color or add a diffused glow to this. And in fact, on this black and white layer, you might even want to add different blending modes to see what they do. Ooh, I kind of like screen, color dodge. That kind of gives an infrared effect right there. And if you don't like it, you can always lower the opacity to bring some of the colors back in. But I really like seeing the whites, the glowing white. Okay, on this layer 1, I may make a copy so I don't mess it up. And then on this copy, I'm going to add my filter. So if I go to filter and then go to filter gallery, I can find my diffused glow. It's under distort. So you can kind of see, You can change the graininess, the glow amount, the clear amount. You want it to be on 15. Glow is somewhere in between. This is very glowy, less glowy. Okay. And then the reason I made a copy of that is you can kind of see how much the glow alters the image. And I might want to add a blending mode on this so that it's not as intense. Maybe one of those lighten or screen blending modes. There we go. So now when I zoom in, I can see I have the diffused glow kind of around some of my pixels. And I also have the fluorescing of the greens and the darker blues that give it more of an infrared look. Maybe I'll make another copy of that black and white layer. Put like a different blending mode on it. So you can really play around with the values and the contrast in your infrared image. Lots of contrast, maybe darker. Again, with abstract, you're trying to disguise what it is or distort it in, a lot of different ways.